Good evening, everyone. I'm gonna get right to it. I'm gonna give you all my November 13th dream, and this is how it goes. So, I'm taking pictures. Can't tell if it's really morning or evening. The sun is barely visible, but it is visible. In the background, clouds seem to be just floating off, like they're being sucked from a vacuum. The sun is at its brightest. It's being pulled though. It's being pulled like towards, I guess, like space, like like pulled out. It's being pulled out and not being pushed towards us. It's weird. It's really weird. So that's when, like, a whisper, everyone starts hearing a whisper, and it's like at the same volume, it's like, but you can't hear it, it's like, so traffic starts to stop, buses, cars, you name it, like, everybody's pulling over, everybody's hearing the same exact thing. But everybody's like kind of being weird about it because nobody wants to be the crazy and want to say, "Oh, yo, do you hear that?" So, like, it's as if even airplanes are now being pulled out, like, away from our gravity. They're being pulled towards space, not towards, the ground, or not staying on one, plane. So all of a sudden, meteors begin to fall, and they're burning up into the atmosphere, but everybody's seeing them. And there's a darkness that it's closing in. It's like a dark, circle-ish void that we're heading towards. It's like the mouth of like a beast. It was just insanely. It was just, something was wrong. So we transition, and the sun begins to dim, like out, like it's becoming dark, very dark. And as the sun's radiance is dimming, the energy is being pulled towards the sky and not towards us. So at that moment, we see a bright red planet. It's like an orangish red. A radio alert is then sounding, and a message is following. Nobody's listening to the message, but we all hear the tones going off. The whisper becomes louder, and it's weird because it's such an S. And from what I remember, it was something to the effect of. It's like, your days are in this. It is that mounts. You must choose your days in Sionis. So it's the desolate and destructor. It was like electric. It was like you could hear a humming during this. It was weird. It was not cool, man. It was scary. It's getting darker and darker, and the moon begins to be pushed out, like it's falling away from us. It's not like on its same plane. It's not, revolving the way that it should. It's not even standing still. It's literally falling away. And as it's falling away, this red planet keeps getting closer and closer and closer. And now it's basically pushed our moon out of the transition. We're going into this dark void, and we're basically like spinning in a downfall, like it's out of control. Like we're out of control. Everybody's now asking each other, "Did you see that? did that really just happen? What's going on? Everybody's starting to panic and yell, and everybody just is trying to figure out like what just happened and what's happening, what's going on. Nobody can come up with a solid answer. The dark void is getting closer and closer. Everybody's starting to yell, scream, cry, call their loved ones. Nobody knows what to do. Nobody knows what's happening. People start peeling off, and then it happens. Everything shuts off. Complete darkness. It's as if it was an EMP, but it wasn't us that was doing it. It was something else happening. It was our grid wasn't protected properly, or it was the pull from. They say, I've heard the theory that Mercury conducts electricity, and there's a theory that when it transitions the sun with, I think it was Jupiter or Neptune, if they were in total polarity, one, lined up, it would create a magnetic force that we would probably lose power. The sun would shoot gamma rays and everything else at us. That's when we see the sun falling away, further and further. We don't know what to do. We're all just panicking and fearing the worst. And it was as if like a darkness fell across us, like as if we were in a lake, and ice, like we fell through the ice, and we were trying to find the layer that we fell through, but we're just falling away from it further and further. There's a current that's just pulling us in a different direction, and at this point everybody's screaming. Nobody knows what to do. And that's when it happens. Thunder. It was just shaking the ground. It was intense. It was unlike anything anybody had ever knew about. It was just so intense. And that's when this all the planets were converging on one area, towards us, but away from us. I guess we were falling towards them, if I want to look at it that way. And we were like almost lined up, but now we're spinning like a snake, like a slithering, almost, in a fashion that's like twisting, like a spiral. And I guess I drew a couple of versions of how it looked. That's pretty much how the dream ended. It's the thunder and everything. I basically woke up, but I guess I wanted to show you the what I drew to make you understand what I saw.